Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to say call halal Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Ba'ashim Rechah HaKudash, and double honor to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone who taught us this truth and rule well, and shalom to the hopeful elect. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Ba'ashim Rechah HaKudash Barakatam. It's the brother Kazah coming back at it again with another lesson, and this lesson is going to be titled The Least of Thy Flock. All right, it's going to be in reference, to the precept that we're going to be pulling out, coming through the inspiration of this article, all right, through the Rechah HaKudash. All right, so you see this article is titled, Israel Acquires New Capabilities to Support a Potential Attack on Iran. Okay, and the reason why they want to attack, Iran, I was going to say the so-called Iran, the reason why they want to attack Iran was because, the nuclear capabilities and ultimately, to establish, that preeminence in the region, because in that region, you got, heathens that, got their own little philosophies, concerning Islam. You got some that is Christians, you got some that is, well, not some, and then you got, the small hats, the 1948ers, which they have adopted a corrupted version of the scriptures, which really, they don't follow, after the scriptures anyways, man. A lot of the stuff that they do is completely off, starting with that book, the Talmud, that's what they go into, it's just completely off, man. Especially if you know about certain things that's written in it, and these people are they're as the scriptures calls them, the least of thy flock, making a reference towards Amalek, all right, which Amalek are the people that are in our land right now trying to pose to be us. Okay, and right now, they stocking themselves up, that's Joel chapter 3, stocking themselves up, and they basically stirring things up, and even in the grand scheme of things, they're stirring things up, man. All right, so we'll see how this situation out here in the Middle East, transpires, man. And that's Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, he's making everything happen all over the world, man. All right, so let's go into this article real quick, and we're going to hit a few precepts. All right, and it reads, the Israeli Air Force, all right, has acquired new capabilities to launch attacks on Iran and its nuclear facilities. Okay, so they're ultimately targeting, the Iranians, all right, which, they'd be the modern day Persians. All right, it reads, Jerusalem can now reportedly fly its F-35 stealth fighter jets to Tehran without needing to refuel. Okay, so now they, they got stealth fighter jets, things of that nature, man. And that's the heathen, that's the heathen, beating their plowshares into swords and their pruning hooks into spears. That basically meaning that's them, going into these new technologies. All right, which we could just get that out. The book of Joel, chapter 3. All right, verse 10. Just get straight to the point. It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, and let the weak say, I am strong. Okay, so this here, in a sense, it's another, manifestation of that too. Because here it is, you got Israel, just a small, speck, and then you got, Arabia, you got, Iran, which is, the modern day Persians. You got the Armenians, you had Palestine, that land used to be, known as Palestine, and you got Ishmael in there, you know what I'm saying? And they, till this day, they still, feuding over the land, so now that Israel has these new capabilities, they basically, have acquired new capabilities, as the article says. They are basically, they're declaring their strength by puffing at the modern day Persians, which is, the Iranians. All right, it says Jerusalem can now, and I'm gonna read it again, Jerusalem can now reportedly fly its F-35 stealth fighter jets to Tehran without needing to refuel. Okay, and this is just the spirit of war that's in the whole world, really. It's just a spirit of war. All right, I started, with Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, putting the spirit on Gog and Magog, the modern day Russians, to come down and take over the Ukraine, right? You got, tensions increasing between NATO, the EU, and Russia and their counterparts, right? So now you have, the 1948ers, basically they puffing at the modern day Iran, modern day Persians, which is the Iranians. All right, so Yahweh Shema Shai is definitely putting out that spirit of war into the world. Okay, it says the Air Force has also equipped its F-35 aircraft with a new bomb that can be carried inside the internal weapons compartments to avoid jeopardizing the plane's stealth radar signature. Okay, and I believe, when it talks about that new bomb, that's talking about ICBM thermonuclear missile. All right, just making sure the mic is on. Okay, so it reads, developed by Rafael Advanced Weapons, and this is a very, you know what I'm saying? That's a very hypocritical thing that I just had to read right there. Rafael Advanced Weapons. Raphael goes back to Rapa Allah, which means he is a healing power. It goes back to an angel of healing. And he made his appearance in the scriptures. Primarily in the Apocrypha. I forgot exactly which book. Salakia, but he made he made an appearance, and he is a healing angel. But this devil goes and names a weapon system Raphael. He names a weapon system after an angel of healing. That just goes to show you, these are not the people, man. All right, and they're just, the gig is up, man. All right, and it's going to be up, and it's going to be made manifest when we get these devils out their bunkers, man. All right, it's starting with the elites. Okay. So, Rich, the 1-ton bomb is protected from jamming in electronic warfare systems. These recent developments are major boosts in the IAF capabilities as it prepares for future strikes against the Islamic Republic. Okay, and that Islamic Republic is basically Iran. All right, so they're about to go at it, man. Okay, this is the direction that these heathens are going into. All right, it says Iran threatening Israel. Iran's army, that's the subheading. All right, so it reads Iran's army ground forces commander KH, I'm just going to call it that. I'm not going to try to pronounce their names. It reads announced on Tuesday that the Iranian military is ready to attack some of the major cities in Israel and should tensions escalate. All right, upon an order of the supreme leader of the Islamic Revolution. All right, which that's one of the religions that's there. Islam, that's a fake ass religion, man. All right, it's basically a spin-off of the Catholicism, and basically the Catholics try to make that religion and convert. They basically converted Ishmael and just the heathens there, to this religion in order to control them, but it completely backfired. That's why their book is called Quran, which goes back to the Hebrew word Korah, which means to recite. All right, that's just a little side note for the Akim out there. That they book, it got no originality, man. All right, but it reads, and it reads, we will raise Tel Aviv and Haifa to the ground for any mistake made by the enemy, which he's referring to Israel. Okay, and it says, and he further stated that the range of Iranian drones and missiles has significantly increased, indicating that they could pose a major threat. All right, so as you can see, man, this is what's stirring up, man. All right, this is what these heathens are being directed towards, but they're being directed towards through the spirit and part Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, that's why ultimately back in Joel chapter 3. All right, let me see. All right, I'm gonna just get to the point. All right, it reads, let the heathen, jumping down to verse 12. All right, so Joel chapter 3, verse 12, and it reads, let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Okay, and that's what's getting ready to happen, man. All right, the war in Armageddon is being made manifest. Okay, and it's the least of the flock. All right, that's gonna draw them out. All right, let's go to another. Well, we're just gonna open up another page. All right, let's go and read it like this: the least of thy flock, or I think it was the least of thy brethren. But let me see. Oh, no. I think it's the least of thy brethren. All right, which that's gonna have to change the title. All right, so the least of thy brethren. Or maybe it is the least of thy flock. Yep, the least of thy flock. All right, I remembered it correctly. All right, so let's go to it. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 45. All right, and it reads, "Therefore, hear ye the counsel of Yahweh, that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath proposed against the land of the Chaldeans," which is, aka America. All right, Babylon, America, in prophecy here is talking about, it's like in Babylon, the Chaldeans, and prophecy here is talking about America, the United States. And it reads, "Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out." Okay, and this is talking about Amalek. All right, Amalek, the so-called 1948ers. All right, them, starting with the elites. Okay, and the reason, another thing too, all right, that I've been saving to mention, even in the grand, in the high levels, all right, in the top levels of Esau's nation, okay, you got the elites that's really waging the war between Russia and the U.S. All right, that's ultimately orchestrating this. They pushing towards that. Because really, if it was, each nation, each country left to their own devices, to their own will, all right, they would ultimately, be at peace with each other, man. I don't I speak as a man. I see no reason as why, the U.S. and Russia and NATO and the EU, all get together and go to war. But it's ultimately Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai putting the spirit on these devils to, enable their new world order. All right, and in turn, commanding these nations to feud and go at one another. Proxy wars. All right, certain political interests that these nations have that oppose one another. You know what I'm saying? It's ultimately Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai doing this. All right, but he's using his whipping stick, which is Esau Edom. All right, starting with the elites. Okay, he's putting the spirit on these people to do that. All right, and in turn cause these countries to go to war with one another. Okay, so continuing on, and it reads, "Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out, and surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them." All right, "At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and a cry is heard among the nations." Okay, so that's going to be when, the Russians fire their ICBM missiles over here on this place, and this place gets hit by all the missiles, man. All right, and it's not just gonna be the Russians. It's gonna be all the enemies of America, including the EU. The certain Europeans, countries that's gonna turn and flip on this place. All right, so we're seeing that it's heading toward this direction. Prophecy is being made manifest. All right, so with that, I'm gonna say, Call Halal Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem Rechah HaKodash for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. Just watching the times, just blowing the trumpet. All right, so with that, I'm gonna say Shalom. On to the next.